Okay, the first thing I want to show you, let's come up here. The first thing I hope you notice is how I have my beehive strapped down. I use the ratcheting straps and some stakes in the ground, and it's very important that you make sure that you have your stakes firmly in the ground. Let me get you a closer look here, and hopefully you can see what I mean. Here, what I have is the ratcheting straps. They tighten down, and it's attached to this stake that's in the ground, and you have to make sure that it's firmly in the ground. I was using another size stake, which really just didn't work because I put it in the ground. Actually, it's this one right here. I put this stake in the ground, and it did not go far enough in the ground. It pulled right out because what we have here in Florida is basically sand. So make sure your stake is far enough in the ground and that it's firmly tacked down. That's one thing that we have to be prepared for. It's not something you want to do last minute when the storm's coming. You want to make sure that you have these stakes in the ground prepared for when there's a storm warning. As you can see, I have stakes here. I like to keep them a little further down in the ground so I don't trip over them when they're not staked up. Another thing that I want to show you, you set this right here. Another thing I want to show you is that I screw in these owl brackets. I screw them to the bottom board, and that holds it firmly in place. I have one on each side. And then over here, you can see that everything gets strapped down. Now, one thing that Now, I'm located in a very urban area. I'm right here in downtown Clearwater, and my back fence faces the west, so most of the storms will come in from the west. So before a storm comes, I make sure that I shore this fence up with a 4x4, making sure it's braced up against it so that the fence doesn't get wind and fall down on my beehive. So that might be something else that you might want to take into account of where your beehive is, whether there's tree limbs above it or not. Main point thing. Now I am urban, very urban. So I'm an urban beekeeper. I'm right downtown Clearwater, and my back fence faces the west, and most of the storms will come in from the west. So before a storm comes, I make sure that I shore up this back fence. I put a 4x4 down and brace the back fence so that the wind doesn't come in and fall on my beehives. I make sure it's well braced. Also, you might want to check for tree limbs that might be above your beehives, that they don't get blown off and fall down onto your hive. So the main thing is to be prepared before the storm comes. So I hope this video has helped you, and if you have any comments or questions, or you want to share this, that would be fantastic. And once again, it's so good to be a part of the group of flow hive keepers of Florida, or Florida flow hive keepers. Yeah, that's what we're called. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. And I'm an urban beekeeper here in downtown Clearwater, My backyard fence faces the west, and most of our storms are going to come in from the west, and so I make sure that I brace this fence up with a 4x4. I'll put a 4x4 here and just shore this fence up so the wind doesn't blow it down onto my beehives. One thing you also want to check out is that there's no tree limbs above your beehives that could be broken off and fall on your hive. So the main thing is to be prepared. Make sure you have the stakes in the ground or a plan for what you're going to do for when the storms come. So I want to thank you for watching. It's a pleasure to be a part of the Florida Flow Hive Beekeepers. Again, this is Pastor Bob from Bob's Bees. Whatever you do, wherever you go, always remember, never forget to be amazing. I'll talk to you soon.